Well, Sara, hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Same to you.
I'm Justin with Forest Park here. You are Sara from the Hope Project.
Yep.
We've been connected for a while. You even said you knew Chris White once upon a time and did a video here. So how long has your connection with Forest Park been?
So probably, since I've been here, probably like 12, 13, 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Around there.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Because we started actually doing support groups here years ago. I'm thinking about it basically when I got married. So I got married 11 years ago. Before I was married, we were doing groups here. So,
all right.
Yeah, you guys have been wonderful supporters of the
awesome.
Hope Project. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fans. But just for maybe those who don't totally know, maybe you could kind of dive into who is the Hope Project? What are you guys doing? What's the mission?
Sure, absolutely. So the Hope Project is an anti-human trafficking organization. The dream started back in 2006. That's when Jeff and Sue basically got their mission from the Lord to start this organization. Mm-hmm. And we got our 501c3 in 2007. And from there on, it has just been one thing after the next with growth.
Wow.
And so multiple things happening. So our mission is to support the healing of girls and women who survive sex trafficking and prevent further cases through mentoring and education. Okay. And so how we do that is through a variety of different ways. Mm-hmm. So we have case management, we have advocacy for those coming into our programs. We have counseling. We sponsor counseling if their insurance doesn't cover it. We have support groups. We have a recovery coach now on staff.
Wow.
So we provide that recovery coaching and also recovery groups. We have a hygiene pantry as well for the ladies coming through our program, and also boys if they come forward as well.
Okay.
We also have a mentor program. And so that's for vulnerable youth starting at about 11 years old, and then also for survivors of sex trafficking.
Wow.
Yeah, we do a lot. And we also have a home for adult survivors of sex trafficking. And then we're working to open a home for youth survivors.
Wow.
And then on top of that, we're also out in the community educating them about what human trafficking is. And we're in the schools and go to churches and different places.
Yeah. So you said about what human trafficking is. And I think a lot of us have pictures in our mind, maybe things we've seen on TV or movies or read in the news. So what does it look like here in Michigan and even West Michigan?
Yeah, totally. Well, like me, I had no idea human trafficking was happening in our country. I didn't even hear those first two words together in a sentence until I was in college and I was studying social work. And I'm like, human trafficking, what is that? In my mind, it's only happening in third world countries. It's not here in the States. And then I moved back home to Michigan from Texas after school. And I learned about the Hope Project. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's human trafficking here in West Michigan. I'm really getting an understanding of that. So human trafficking is when there's force, fraud, or coercion involved in a commercial sex act. And if you're under the age of 18, you don't have to prove that there is any force, fraud, or coercion in order for it to be human trafficking. So practically what that looks like, it could be a woman on the streets, and then starting out via like prostitution, which is not human trafficking, but it turns into prostitution when she starts having to owe someone money and she's going to get beat up for it if she doesn't provide that money that night. Okay. So that's an example. Another example that we see here is youth being sold by a family member, whether for their drug addiction, for rent money, for whatever, for some type of sexual act, and the family member gets paid for it. So those are some things that we're seeing here locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so once someone has endured that and somehow gotten out, or do you guys help get them out? How do your clients or people, whatever you call them, get connected with you guys?
Yeah. So a variety of different ways. We receive a lot of referrals from other organizations. Sometimes law enforcement is referring them to our organization. Sometimes school counselors refer them to us, and a lot of self-referrals too. We actually had one person who was walking by our sign. We're located in Peck Street, and our sign says, bringing light to those in darkness. She walks in and says, I'm in darkness. How can you help me? And it turns out that she was a survivor of trafficking. So it comes from a variety of ways, but our main thing is the restoration piece. So we're not going out and doing the rescue. After someone's removed from the situation, or if they're able to get out on their own, they can come to our services.
Okay. Okay. And then is that like a set program that they kind of go through for, let's say, a year or?
It really depends on what their needs are.
Okay.
So we have some women who come to us who need housing, and we have that housing program there. And if they qualify for our housing program, they can stay there up to 2 years.
Okay.
But others, they come to us, they've just depends on what their needs are. So some have been trafficked as children. They might come to us in their 50s and they hear us do a presentation and they say, oh my gosh, that happened to me as a child. How can you help me? And we'll assess, what do you need help with, And a lot of times it's us sponsoring their counseling or getting them connected with one of our therapists that we partner with.
Okay.
So it just depends what their needs are. Sometimes they need help in relocating. They need to get out of Muskegon County to go somewhere else. So we'll help them do that. We'll assist them in court if that's what they're needing. Really, we basic on, we provide services based on their needs.
Okay. What does it seem like these days? You said you guys are growing. Now you have a house and another house coming. So what does it look like the growing needs are these days?
Oh my goodness. Yes, so we are growing. We've recently opened up another office, a satellite office in Newaygo County because of the need was there for our services. And just to be clear, human trafficking happens everywhere. Muskegon is not special to having human trafficking. It just so happens that we have a service for survivors so they can get help that they need. Okay. But wherever you have pornography addictions, you have trafficking victims in that town. It just goes hand in hand. The demand is there. And so I just want to be clear on that. Yeah. I don't want people thinking, oh my gosh, there's this huge trafficking problem happening in Muskegon. And the reality is it's everywhere. But we're here to provide those services for survivors so they can get the help they need. Okay. And to prevent it too with doing things like this, to bring education and awareness to the issue. Yeah. Yeah.
And you said earlier that you meet with churches and schools and help them. What does that look like?
So variety of different ways. So we have Power of a Choice Assembly that we partner with others. We partner with DJ Hilson, our head prosecutor here in Muskegon County, and we go into the schools with him and other people with lived experience, those who've been even incarcerated before, and they share their stories of the choices that they make. And our angle with going into school, specifically with the Power of a Choice Assembly, is bringing education of you can choose whether or not to accept that friend request. You can choose whether or not to send that picture of yourself when someone's asking of that, and so really bringing some education to students. So hopefully they don't end up coming through our doors, right? We don't want to serve every youth in our county and beyond, but we want to empower them with tools. So that's one thing we do. And then we'll also do individual classroom presentations if teachers want that. We've met with principals before to educate them on our services. And then in churches, we've come to their congregation, like we're coming to your congregation and getting to share about what we do. So we partner in different ways. We do a prayer and worship night annually to fight human trafficking. And so each year we have it at a different church. And a couple of weeks ago, we had it at Life Change Church. Okay. And so we partner with different ways, and churches get involved. They'll do hygiene drives for us. Some churches have provided meals for our groups that we have, which has been wonderful, so it's really unique to whatever the church is wanting to do, how they want to serve, how they want to advertise our events. Like we have a masquerade ball coming up, so a lot of churches will put that in their bulletin. We have the crop walk on October 4th coming up as well, and so churches will advertise that. So just different ways they can get involved.
Maybe tell us just a little bit, what are those, like the masquerade ball? I know what that is, but maybe tell the rest of us.
So our masquerade ball, that is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's November 7th this year. It's our diamond anniversary. So 10 years of providing the masquerade ball in our community. We're super excited for it, and that brings in a lot of funds for our organization. And so you get dressed up. It's a masquerade ball. So get out your old prom dress or get a new dress, a cocktail dress, wear a suit, and have a great time. We have an auction, silent auction there, and some games. And then we have dancing, and then a presentation on the Hope Project, and This year, we're actually going to have a live band.
Oh, wow.
So that's something new that we're going to
cool.
have. So we'll have live band for the dancing versus just a DJ like we've done in the past.
Okay. And then you said the crop walk?
The crop walk.
Crop.
So,
okay.
Yep, crop. So it's a hunger relief walk. And so we're one of many organizations that walk helps fund, and it helps fund food needs.
Okay.
And so some of the girls coming in our program come in hungry, and we're able to provide some food bags, but also food for the support groups that we have. Because it's a lot easier to open up when you're not hungry, right? And food definitely helps with any group, and have conversation and make people feel more welcome.
Yeah.
So that's what those funds go towards.
Yeah.
And with that walk specifically, it's neat because that's something that the kids can get involved with.
Okay.
Because you can't come to the masquerade ball. You have to be at least 18 to come to the ball. But the crop walk, and my kids come to that, and they loved it last year, and they're 5 and 7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like when you go to the schools, it's probably maybe high school?
Yeah, middle school, high school.
Middle school too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the average age, well, I won't say average age, but typically we start serving youth. They can come into our doors around 11 years old. Wow. And so, that's middle school, even younger than middle school age. And some of the women coming in our program have even been trafficked younger than that. Like we've had a couple 8-year-olds in our program before. And so, but mainly we'll go talk to the students in the middle school and high school. Okay. But we want to provide that education though too to parents.
Sure.
So we have like tips for parents, tips for teens, handouts that we provide for the schools as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the scope of things and what you're looking at, it sounds like you're involved in a lot of different areas. Meeting with the community, teachers, leaders, churches, meeting with women, maybe even young men, helping them to find more help and support. Where would you say you see God at work most these days? Or at all, I guess. Not most, anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Where do you see God at work?
He is working everywhere in our organization. One of the main prayers that we pray is, God, may your kingdom come and your will be done in the Hope Project as it is in heaven, right? And so we are believing God to move daily in our ministry. And so just to give you an example, we had one of our youth who's in our mentor program. She was terrified of swimming. And her mentor has a pool, and she said, well, let's practice this. But she was so scared, but eventually she got in the pool and she started to learn how to swim. And so that was a couple years ago, and now she's a lifeguard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she took that one skill, and now she's grown it, and I actually saw her recently, and she was just so excited to be having this job. And but something practical that we can do, right? Other areas he's moving to is just in the individual lives of those that we serve, like people who are having encounters with the Lord as well. We have had women that have been baptized, and even though we're not doing the baptizing, but they'll come back and share their faith with us, and they say, wow, like I've grown in the Lord because I was part of the Hope Project. We've had other women come forward who have said, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the Hope Project. So much of what we do is plant seeds.
Okay.
We're planting seeds, a lot of it. I talked to a mentor last week, and I was just thanking her for her involvement and really supporting this client of ours. And she goes, I don't know how much I'm doing, because this client has kind of like a chaotic life, right?
Sure.
Has had some rough times, and there's, just been difficult. And this mentor was feeling a little discouraged. But I was able to, so she's telling me how, she's like, I'm not sure, how well I'm doing. And then she goes on to say, well, she did want to kill herself at one point. And she doesn't want to kill herself anymore. So I guess that's something. I'm like, yes, that's something. Like, come on. Like, you don't know the impact that you're going to have, and I'm all about like the generational long impact, right? So this girl that she's mentoring is eventually going to be a mom someday, and we might not get to see the fruit of this mentor's labor, right? That she's just been consistent with her. But I know like it's going to pay off, she's alive when she could be dead, We've had another youth share with us a couple months ago. She said, I didn't think I was going to make it to my 16th birthday. But then I came to the Hope Project, and now she's 18 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so how God is moving, he's moving in a variety of different ways, right? Mm-hmm. He's moving through different, even like trainings that we're able to give, just the awareness, the increased awareness that's happening in our community now. And then just the individual lives. And then like the funds that come in. Like recently, we were praying about a financial need that we had, and someone gave us a lot of money that we don't even know. And we're like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord, for providing. He sees all of our needs, and he's going to meet them right where we're at, sure. Right? And so we always are open to whatever God wants to do. Okay. And that might not be what we're expecting, right? Yeah. But we are just so excited and just open to see what God's going to do each day.
Does it feel, because the idea of human trafficking seems heavy and sad and dark at times. And I'm sure the work that you guys do feels that way. So how important is it for you to share like the hope, the good news, the small steps of fruit that you see in people's lives? How do you guys do that as a team?
Yeah, it is so important. So as a team, we talk about the good news every week in our team meetings. And so I'll go around, okay, what's the good news from last week? Because we could focus on the dark things, because human trafficking is just pure evil. Yeah. And I could tell you some heart-wrenching stories that will make all of the viewers just start crying and all of that. And but we're also the Hope Project too. Yeah. And so that's what, for my message is getting across that, hey, there is hope for you out there. So if this has happened, come to the Hope Project, and we want to help you with that hope, right? Yeah. And we're not the Depression Project, because you could go to, some trainings on human trafficking and you could feel depressed afterwards. Sure. It has ripped my heart to pieces. And that's why I'm doing this job. It's just the brokenness and just getting God's heart for victims and what they've gone through, but knowing that he's the ultimate restorer. Yeah. And we kind of just come along and say, okay, God, however you want to help heal. Like, we're here to do the support for them. Like, we don't do the healing. We can't do the healing. They have to do the healing. The Lord has to do the healing, right? Yeah. But we just provide the means for the healing to occur. Yeah. Okay, your main question. I feel like I went on a tangent there. Well, you're asking.
I'm assuming it's important that you share those wins with each other, let alone encourage each other to stay connected to God, because I'm sure it sucks the energy and all of that out of everyone.
Yeah, it does. And having a team too, being available as well to be able to communicate with one another when someone is having a hard day. And but to be able to share those wins, I think, is huge, to focus on positive, but then also to be available to process the trauma as well is important. Yeah,
sharing the burden a little bit with each other. And
because secondary trauma is a real thing.
Oh, I bet.
And it's hard. It can be really hard, especially for our advocates who are in the trenches with those that we serve.
Yeah. So when you come specifically to churches, what is your biggest request, need, prayer? What is it you're hoping for from churches?
A few different things. Okay. One thing that we say is to get mad about the issue. So MAD standing for mentor, advocate, and donate. Okay. So that's kind of like our main pitch, right? Okay. So we actually need mentors currently. We have 4 girls on a waiting list to receive a mentor. And we partner with churches to help but to provide that need. Okay. And it's volunteer women, Christian women that walk along, a youth or an adult, for about a year. And I'm just going to tell you about the mentor program, giving a plug, because we have a need for it right now. But it's about 4 hours a month, 2 hours every other week. An hour every week is the goal. Sometimes it doesn't always happen based on schedules, but really to have that support, that caring person in that mentee's life, because they have come a lot of times from a life of chaos and they don't have that family support. Okay. And that's the one way we want to prevent trafficking and just be that supportive person in their lives to help them set goals. Like, as a mentor, you're not the mom and you're not the therapist, but you're that person who cares and who's going to walk alongside of them to help them really accomplish their goals.
So you have a young woman who needs a mentor. you have a woman who's like, I don't know if I could be a mentor. I care and I want to help. I'm not gifted at this. I can't do that. Like, how do you help them?
Yeah. So there's a whole application process.
Okay.
And of course we do extensive background checks with our mentors.
Yeah.
And then they also go through training as well. And they'll have an interview with Jen, who's our director of operations, and she oversees the mentor program. And so what the first step though is filling out an application form.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So they fill that out. Then
we'll contact them.
Interview, you contact them, and then you spend time trying to help them, give them resources and help them.
Yeah.
I mean, because only my end of things is that a lot of times I'll meet someone who's like, oh, I really want to help, but I'm not good enough. I don't know. I can't do this. I can't. I think they underestimate what God can do with them. Yeah. With just an open, willing heart. So I just trying to help them.
Yeah. See. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so they could get involved in our mentor program, but also mentoring, when we talk about MAD, is getting involved in the lives of youth. You know, so we're kind of like specific within our program with who can be mentors and that type of thing.
Sure.
But I mean, mentoring youth, like, let's prevent this trafficking across the board. Like, get involved in your local school. You know, become a tutor in that school. Be that caring person, right?
Yeah.
To the peers. So hopefully they don't end up in a trafficking situation. Because a lot of times they're trafficking, they're just looking for love, but in the wrong places. And so if they can find that love, and especially being spirit-filled, loving Jesus, like, come on, church, like, let's be the church and get invested in youth. Okay. So that's one area for mentor.
Okay.
You know, advocating, tell others about what human trafficking is. Tell people about our programs, you know, and so that's another way to get involved. Share a post on social media. That's a very simple thing that we can do. And then the D stands for donate. So whether it's donating your time or donating funds, we do not exist without funds, right? And so that's another way the church can be involved, especially like with monthly donations. That helps with sustainability of our programs. Okay. So that would be, I think, a key ask a lot of times when we go to churches is to become a monthly donor, whether it's $10, $25, $50, whatever the individual can do. Yeah. You know, it makes a difference.
Yeah. Just so you can count on consistent financial support for your team. And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that, like, hey, this is our newest need or our most growing need or something? Here's what we're really hoping for.
One of our needs right now is a need for a new van. So I'll just throw that out there right now. I mean, we're going to be looking for some grants here and some foundations that may be willing to fund a new van. But one thing that we do is provide transportation to support groups, to therapy. We have equine therapy going on right now, and we have sometimes 2 vans on the road, and we have 1 van that's on its way out. And so that's just a practical need currently that we have is we need a new van so our advocates will feel safe on the roads. Okay. So that is one current need that we have right now.
Okay.
Funds for.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is. It is exciting. And I love getting to do what we do and seeing lives transform.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. What would you say is like your biggest challenge these days in what you face?
Biggest challenge, I would just say, is the growing pains. We're growing. Yep. We are growing. Average about 3 clients a month, new clients coming in our doors. And so with that is staff, you know, that we have to have, and policies being, you know, created, adjusting, just everything with the growth.
Sure.
It can be, it's a challenge for sure. And navigating those challenges.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. These are good because these also give our church kind of points and things we can be praying for and encouraging our people to keep their eyes open and hearts open towards.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And we so appreciate prayers as well. So we have a prayer text that goes out every Tuesday.
Okay.
And so if anyone in your congregation is interested on that, to be part of that prayer text, I know Barb Flores, she used to be one of our prayer partners. And she went to Forest Park. And so she was just so wonderful. And she would show up almost every Tuesday to pray for this ministry. And yeah, we miss her a lot. But that's one way to get involved. And we do have a prayer hour on Tuesday. So if anyone, if they feel like, oh, that's something I can do, I can pray consistently for this ministry. We call it basically like a prayer shield. Okay. And so on Tuesdays from noon to 1, we are praying specifically for the organization, for our clients. And then with a prayer text, we have praise reports that go out. Okay. And so we'll mention, hey, this girl got a job, or the Unity was great. We're at the Unity Fest. And so there's different things that we'll say, or we did this presentation at this church, or just so our prayer partners can see the praise reports. That's another way we keep people positive, right? What's happening. Yeah. And then we talk about the prayer needs that we have as well. And
so how would they sign up for the prayer text? What's the number?
They could contact the info email, which is info@hopeprojectusa.org. Okay. And they could just email us and say, I would like to receive the prayer text. Okay. Yep. And it's through the GroupMe app that we use. Okay.
And any other connection information that they should look for to find information to connect with you guys?
Yeah. So they can actually sign up for a monthly newsletter through our email. And I think there's like a contact us button on our website, or sign up for our e-news, one of those. Mm-hmm. Or on our website, hopeprojectusa.org is our website. So go there. You can get more involved that way. Mm-hmm. You'll see our announcements that we have coming up for the Masquerade Ball, and then also the Crop Walk coming up too. And we'll be getting flyers out for that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And those are things like crop walks, are things that your family, anyone can get involved in.
Family, family can do. Masquerade Ball is that we're looking for sponsors for that, donations for that, for our live and silent auction. So if those, if anyone has a business, within the church and they want to donate that way and have some recognition for their business, we would love that. And so to contact us and we'll get you connected.
All right. Great. Yeah. Thank you, Sara. I appreciate you sharing. We will see you this Sunday at church.
I won't be here. Someone else will be here. Diane will be here at church.
And what's Diane do? What's her role?
Her main role is with donor relations. Okay. Yep. But she formerly was an advocate, and then now she's focusing on helping us with some donor relations.
Cool. That'll be great. We look forward to meeting her too.
Yeah, it'll be great. So definitely stop by the booth if you have more questions, and she'll be able to answer them. Great.
Thank you so much for your time, and know that we are so supportive and looking forward to praying and continuing our partnership with Hope.
Awesome. So thank you. We appreciate you guys too.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.